Hello everyone, welcome you all to this new video. So in my previous video, I had discussed with the concept of VDB load line and Q point, and I've told you about how to construct the VDB load line, and the construction is done in the IV characteristic plot, which consists of IC versus VCE, and how the VDB load line is drawn in that circuit, what are all the parameters which you need to be knowing, and how the Q points are constructed with respect to one variable resistance in the VDB circuit. Okay, so that I've explained it in that video just before this video. Those who have not watched it, please, my humble request to you guys is please watch all the videos from the beginning if you want to understand the complete module in a the complete subject in a series, okay, for VTU students. So please don't skip any videos. Please watch the this playlist from the beginning and then come to this video, okay. So please do that. So those who are new to this video, I'm telling you for them especially, and those who are following my videos, so it's well and good, so you can continue from here, okay. So already two videos are uploaded. This is the third video, and in this video we are going to discuss with some different transistor biasing circuits. So before that, I would like to tell you about one simple concept I would like to brush up, that is two supply emitter bias. Okay, then we'll get to our main concept. So let us see what you mean by this two supplier emitter bias. The two supplier emitter bias in the figure 8.8 and 8.9. So these are the two figures where it consists of two supplier emitter bias circuit. So shows the transistor circuit with the two power supplies. Okay, so the two power supplies in this case are plus 10 volt and minus 2 volt. You see here in this circuit, this is one supply VCC supply that is equal to plus 10 volt, and this is the VDD supply, okay, that is equal to minus 2 volt. Okay, in this case, one is positive and negative supply. The negative supply forward biases the emitter diode, okay, and the positive supply reverse biases the collector diode. This circuit is derived from the emitter bias. Hence, we refer this as two supply bias circuit, or it is called as TSEB, where this E stands for emitter. Okay, two supply emitter bias. So, what do you mean by this two supply emitter bias? You observe the circuit in these two figures very carefully and try to analyze what and all of the difference you see in these two figures. Okay, so just try to analyze, just take 10 seconds and see what and all are the differences you observe in these two circuits. Okay. Actually, if you observe very carefully, there are no much differences. What they have done is they have just extended this with the one power supply symbol here. Okay. So what do you mean by this two supply emitter bias circuit is, in this case, we would be having only, this is not a VDB circuit, because in case of VDB circuit you would be having two extra resistances R1 and R2, right, where here in each terminals of the transistor they have attached one resistance. One is the RC resistance, RE resistance, and the RB resistance, that is the base resistance. Okay, in this case we should be giving the two supplies strictly, one is to the collector and one is to the emitter, not to the base. Okay, because the base would be directly given to the ground, that is, you here the value would be always zero. Okay, so you should be keeping that in mind whenever you have two supply. Why it is called as emitter bias? For the reason why, because it is specially given, the second supply is specially given to the emitter side, not to the base side. Okay, in generally what you do, generally one supply is always given to the collector side, right? In the previous circuits whichever you have seen, these circuits and all, here you see, here in every circuits the supply is always given to the collector side, whereas in this case two supply emitter bias. Why? Because we are giving the extra supply to the emitter, not to the base, because the base is directly given to the ground and that is equal to 0 volt, where we would be having no voltages, okay, in the base terminal. So that's why we have, it is called as two supply emitter bias circuit. The difference is that here they have extended the voltage with one power supply, and here they have not mentioned it. Okay, so that's one difference. So this thing you might be knowing it, right? The big line indicates positive and the small line indicates negative. So that's why in this case you should be knowing here. Here it is small line, so that's why it would be negative voltage. Okay, yeah. So the circuit in figure 8.8 is redrawn in figure 8.9 for simplicity. Okay, they have just simplified this. The steps for analyzing circuit above as follows. So they have given the steps for analyzing the circuit also. So this would be clearing your all the doubts. So let us read it one by one. First point, If this circuit is correctly designed, the base current IB is very small and hence considered as approximately zero. Voltage VB is approximately zero. Why? The reason I've already told you, VB, it is directly given to the ground, so that's why it is approximately zero. First, calculate VE, which is obtained by analyzing the circuit at emitter. Okay, so at emitter, if you try to calculate the value of VE, you would be getting with this expression, that is VB minus VB. So these are the steps involved for analyzing the two supply emitter bias. So in case if they ask any problem, so this would be beneficial from where you should be starting to analyze. Okay, first calculate VE, which is obtained by analyzing the circuit at the emitter. Okay, at emitter, with the emitter, you should be knowing that VE is equal to VB minus VBE. That is, this is the VBE, right? This is the VBE, and this is VB. If you want to get the emitter voltage, VB minus VBE should be done. Then find the emitter current. Emitter current is nothing but IE is equal to VE minus VEE, that is this voltage, negative voltage, divided by RE. Assume the collector current equal to emitter current, that I've already told you, IC is approximately equal to IE. Calculate the collector voltage, that is also formula is the same, VC is equal to VCC minus IC into RC. And finally the collector to emitter voltage VCE, that is equal to VC minus VE. So these are the steps in order to calculate for the values in the two supply emitter bias circuit. Okay, if in case the problems arrive, these are the steps you need to be knowing. Okay, so please note it down. And this is one simple problem they have given for with respect to these steps here. So I'm not going to explain this again because I would be wasting time. So pause the video and refer this problem. Okay, these notes are already attached in the video's description. Go and access it and see it thoroughly. So this was one concept. Now let's get to the actual concept of the video, that is types of biasing circuits. So we have some common emitter biasing, transistor biasing circuits which you need to be knowing for a circuit to reduce the complexity, because some complex circuits would be consisting of these kind of circuits which is hidden in the complex circuit. So if you understood the complexity very well, and if you analyze the circuit, and you would be getting some types of biasing circuit, based on that the calculation for reducing the circuit would be becoming very very easy. Okay, so that's why they have introduced this concept of biasing circuits. So this is the first kind in this figure which is mentioned here, that is emitter feedback bias. So let us see that. So this is the structure of emitter feedback bias circuit. So you see here we have one VCC, one collector resistance, and why it is called as emitter feedback bias, because we don't have any emitter resistance. The emitter is directly given to the ground here. You see here, observe very carefully, and the base resistor is directly given to the collector resistor. Okay, there is no emitter resistance. Re equal to zero in this case, so that's why it is named as emitter feedback bias. So in the base bias circuit of figure 8.12, at the Q point varies all over the load line due to the replacement of transistor and change in temperature. Hence, to stabilize the Q point, for Q point stability, the emitter feedback bias of circuit is shown in this figure. Notice that the emitter resistance is added at the circuit to stabilize the Q point. If you want to stabilize the Q point, as I've told you in my previous video, on a Q point explanation, in that we have kept one variable resistance, right? So in the emitter side, so due to that variable resistance, the Q point is not stable. Okay, if you vary the resistance, the Q point will be shifting from one place to different place. So if you want the stability of Q point, this is the very very helpful circuit, that is emitter feedback bias circuit, where we don't have any emitter resistance, that is Re equal to zero, and the Q point would be completely stable. So these are the equations with respect to the stability of Q point. That is, first is, here are the equations for analyzing the Q point. First is IE is equal to VCC minus VBE divided by RE plus RB divided by beta into DC, where beta is the amplification factor. So that would be approximately around 50 to 200. Okay, for simple feedback biasing circuits. So since I equal to V by R, in the case of voltage we have VCC minus VBE. This is the VBE voltage here. In case of voltage around this complete path, and the resistance is Re plus RB divided by beta into DC. Why? Because why we are dividing it with some amplification factor? Because it is directly fed to the collector. So that's why. Then VE is equal to IE into RE. VBE is equal to VE plus zero point 0.7 volt. Okay. Then we have VC equal to VCC minus ICRC and VCE equal to VC minus VE. So these are the equations or steps for analyzing this emitter feedback bias. So hope this is clear. So looking at the equations above, it is clear that when IC increases, VE increases, causing VB also to increase, which gives more VB, hence less voltage across RB, reduces the base current IB, which opposes it to the original increase in IC. So that is the explanation with respect to these equations here. Okay, so this is not required. Let's get to the next concept, that is collector feedback bias. Okay, so the figure 8.14a shows the collector feedback bias. So this is the collector feedback bias circuit, and it is also called as self bias. Here, feedback the voltage to the base from the collector to neutralize any change in the collector current. So feedback is done from the voltage to the base from the collector to neutralize any change. Okay, if you want to have some certain change, if you see some change in the collector current, if you want to neutralize that, or if you want that current to become stable, then the feedback is set from the voltage to the base from the collector. Okay, so that is called as collector feedback bias. For an instance, suppose the collector current increases, this decreases the collector voltage, which decreases the voltage across the base resistor as well, since they are inversely proportional to each other. So this decreases the base current, which opposes the original increase in the collector current. So here are the equations for analyzing the collector feedback bias circuit. First is IE equal to VCC minus VBE divided by RC plus RB divided by beta DC. Okay. So here what they have done, you observe carefully. Again, in the collector feedback bias circuit, the emitter resistance is 0 and the base resistance is given below the collector resistance. Okay, it is not given above, whereas in case of emitter, it is given above the collector resistance. Okay, so observe this very carefully. The rest of the things remain the same. VB equal to zero point 0.7 volt, whereas in case of emitter feedback bias, VB would be equal to VE plus zero point 0.7 volt. Why? Because it is fed above the just below VCC. So that's why VE plus zero point 0.7 volt would be coming into the picture in case of the voltage across the base bias circuit. Okay. Whereas in case of this here, because it is directly fed below the collector resistance, so it would be acting as a buffer. So that's why the VE voltage would be equal to 0, because there is no emitter resistance coming into the picture here. So that's why it would be directly zero point 0.7 volt. VC equal to VCC minus ICRC, and VCE equal to VC. Since VE equal to 0, so that's why it is actually VC minus VE, right? So VE in this case is equal to 0. So that's why it is directly VCE equal to VC. Okay. So with respect to load line also, they have given the different expressions for amplification factor, and they have shown it in the load line. Okay. So just go through it. So one more kind of bias circuit is collector and emitter feedback bias. So this is the circuit which consists of both emitter resistance as well as collector resistance, whereas in the previous two types we have seen that the collector resistance Re was equal to 0. In this case, the Re resistance, the emitter resistance is strictly not equal to 0. It has some value. Okay. Collector and emitter feedback bias used to set more stable bias for transistor circuit. So this figure 8.15 shows the collector emitter feedback bias combining both types of feedback in one circuit. Okay, so here we have both the feedbacks. One is the collector feedback and emitter feedback. So that's why the name is given as collector and emitter feedback bias. Okay, in one circuit, with respect to that, what it does is it helps to stabilize the Q point but still production. Okay, so that is if you want to have more stability in the Q point, so that's why then we use this kind of circuit, that is called as collector and emitter feedback bias. So here are the equations again. So here one change is that with respect to, if you compare this with the emitter feedback bias, there is only one change, that is you see here in the emitter feedback bias circuit or collector feedback bias circuit, this Re resistance is coming into the picture. Okay, so that's why in all the equations of whichever we have discussed till now for emitter and collector, Re resistance should be added. That's it. Okay. For example, in case of IE calculation, you see here it is VCC minus VBE divided by RC plus RE plus RB divided by beta DC. Since we have three resistances in picture, VE equal to IE VB equal to VE plus zero point 0.7 volt, then VC equal to VCC minus ICRC. So here in this case, why VE is not equal to 0? In this case, because it was given below VC, right? But here in this case also it is given below VC. But why it is not equal to 0? Because we have the RE resistance in the picture. Since the RE resistance is in the picture and it has some value which is not equal to 0, it is obvious that some current would be flowing in this path, and with respect to some current and some resistance, voltage should be active. Okay, it cannot be equal to 0, so that's why this VE is coming into the picture here. Okay, and VC equal to VCC minus IC into RC. So so these things let us discuss in the next video. So that's all for the video, guys. So these are the different types of transistor biasing circuits which you need to be knowing. Okay, so please go through this, understand this concept very clearly, because this is very important. Okay, so that's all for the video, guys. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and keep supporting us. Thank you.